Guys, there you go. Yep.
Oh, did I lose you? Oh, there you go.
Nice. Recording now. Okay, cool. Yeah, so this podcast, Let's Talk Creatives. So I decided to set up this podcast like a couple of weeks ago, just to give myself something to do while I'm
Yeah.
at yeah, so yeah, as you know, I've got an art blog called theartfreak.com. Yeah, so I'm just using my YouTube channel to host these podcasts and so just reach out to people, see what's going on with them during this
Great idea.
crazy reality.
And then you get to talk to people.
Yeah.
Phone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So you're a fine artist. You're an illustrator.
I'm a painter, and I do drawings as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was trained as a fashion illustrator.
Okay.
When I went to school. I live in New York now, and I live 30 minutes from New York City. So yeah, we're pretty locked down here. I live actually in Westchester County, where the outbreak started in New York. We was the first county to have it, and so wow. Yeah, now it's everywhere. So it's pretty bad, but so I grew up in Philadelphia, which is 2 hours from New York, and I went to school there, and I was a fashion illustration major, and I had a career in fashion design and illustration, and then I did that for about 15 years, and then I got married and had kids, and I took time off to stay home, and somebody had to feed them and take care of them and make sure they didn't, fall apart. So that was me. So I didn't have a lot of time for art back then. I used to always do little projects here and there, but nothing serious. And then about 6 years ago, when my youngest daughter went to college, or as you guys say, university, I said, okay, now what? And I started painting again, which was always my first love. And I just went full force into it, and I haven't looked back. And now I do it full time. I have my own studio separate from my home, and it's been wonderful. So I paint, I use oil paintings, and I do drawings in ink and pencil.
Okay. Yeah, I can see the fashion kind of editorial kind of feel to your work as well. Yeah, very fine and intricate. Like it has a technical feel to it, a very precise feel to it. Like a
photorealistic feel. Yeah. Right? Yes. Yeah. Well, it wasn't a decision that I made. It just kind of came out of me that way. And my influence, I'm inspired by fashion and fashion photography. Yeah. So that's where it all comes from. And I take my own photos. Sometimes I use found photos as well, or I work with photographers and I use their photos. But it's very depressing because more and more I've been taking my own, and I'm not a great photographer, but I get the reference that I need to paint from. And now it's depressing because I can't do that right now. So I have to just keep going into my computer to use my whatever references I had before this whole thing started. But
yeah, you have a really good eye. Like I really like you have, regardless of whether you took the photo or you think you're not a good photographer. Right. I'm confident that you're a good photographer because you have a good eye. To be honest, that's my opinion.
Right. Thank you. I mean, I know what I want.
Yeah.
And for a while I was really scared to take my own photos because I thought I had to know all the technical aspects of the camera, but I don't. As long as I can talk to the model and tell her what I'm looking for, I end up getting the image that I want to get, and then I can always change it on Photoshop or when I'm painting. So it's worked out perfectly. I could use more models, but they're hard to find. But besides
apparently there are models. Well, I've spoken to a few models on my podcast.
Oh, really?
And they're doing photo shoots through online. I was a bit confused.
Oh, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about putting out some sort of message out there that if anybody's interested interested in doing that. That's something I may want to talk to you about. Maybe I could get their information when this is over. And
yeah, definitely.
That would be great.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, so yeah, just models are just doing virtual photo shoots.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's the whole thing. I mean, it's, thank God we live in this world with technology.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what would we do?
Yeah.
We'd all be on a phone with a cord to the wall.
Yeah. It's amazing. Yeah, it's people are just doing so many different things. Like when I first heard the concept of virtual photo shoots, what? So photographers are just grabbing screenshots.
I think that's a great idea. That's going to be my next project after I'm done with this podcast.
Yeah.
I'm excited now.
Yeah. There's one model, like she's a model / performance artist, and I could share her details with you, and you guys can have a chat. Yeah,
that would be wonderful. Yes, because a lot of times too, I'll find, it's hard to find models. There's a website I use called Model Mayhem, which has, models who are starting out. I've contacted some agencies, but I don't know, they don't really want to work with artists that much, so it's hard. And then, so sometimes on Instagram, I will find models and I'll reach out to them directly. So absolutely, I would love to get some of the contacts from you after this.
Yeah, definitely. There's one model from Belgium, but yeah, we'll get onto that after this.
Great.
So, what was I saying? So this lockdown, how has it affected? So it's, you've gone through obstacles, but how else has it affected you, and have you gained or learned anything from this?
Yeah, well, I mean, artists, it's funny. I've seen some memes online, and it's funny. One of them was, a picture of an artist working in their studio, and it said, "Artist before quarantine," and then it was the same picture, and then it said, "Artist during quarantine," because artists are the lucky ones in all of this because we're so used to being alone and working alone every day that my daily life has not really changed that much. I'm still working as if everything is trying to work as if everything is normal, which it definitely is not. And but the downside is that I had an art fair. I was supposed to be in LA for an art fair, which obviously was canceled. And then I wanted to come to London in the fall for an art fair, which, I haven't even considered doing that now. And I had trips planned to Paris and so and other shows in New York that I was in the middle of planning for September. So obviously that is huge because all that has stopped. What I've learned from this is that I think we all need to learn to adapt. We all need to figure out ways to do things differently because obviously this crisis came. None of us were ready for it. And, like I said, my daily life hasn't changed that much, but I have now my 2 adult children back home because we're all quarantined together. Yeah. My husband is in my house now, obviously, and one of my daughter's boyfriends. So now I went from just being me and my husband in my home to 5 of us, which is why I'm now escaping back to my studio. And the building's empty, but I work by myself, so it's still very safe. I just get in the car and I drive here and I don't see anybody and then I go home. But adapting to having that many people now at home is something I'm very proud of. I'll let you know if I actually get through it in the end. But and also there are artists. I think I've always. The way I started getting exposure in this industry is by selling my work online, and a lot of artists don't do that. And I'm very grateful that I've been doing that because I can still do that. But there are artists that only sell their work in galleries, and now people are trying to scramble to figure out how to now get their work out there other ways. So I think that everybody in every industry, I mean, one of my daughters works in media and the other one works in law, and they're both working from home now. So it's completely different, but they're doing their job. So I just think that I've learned that we all need to be ready to adapt to anything and try to make our lives work in any situation.
Definitely, most definitely. You have no choice but to adapt.
Right.
Otherwise, what else can you do?
Like you can fall apart.
A lot of people have been falling apart, apparently, you know. So.
It's very difficult, and we want to keep everybody healthy and safe. I've also learned that well, at least in my country, we can't trust what the government says because our fearless leader, we will not mention his name. I don't know who's watching this and who likes him and who doesn't, but I am not a fan, and it's scary. But our governor Cuomo is doing a great job for New York, so I feel comfortable with that.
That's good.
I don't know how long we'll be doing this for. I don't think anybody knows.
Yeah. How can you predict, or do you have a? I don't know.
I mean, I think, first of all, I think for at least a year, things are going to be.
Oh.
Not in lockdown, not in lockdown.
So, yeah.
But I think for at least a year, things are going to be very different. I think we'll be in lockdown till, if I had to predict, I would say at least June or July at the earliest, I think, especially in New York. I mean,
okay.
People are saying things like May 1st. There's not a chance that anything's happening. We're at April, what's today? April 16th?
Yeah.
There's no way. And when we do start to get back to normal, I mean, I don't feel comfortable all of a sudden going back into a restaurant or to an art fair with lots of people. So I think that it's going to be a very gradual, slow process. I don't know.
Yeah. It'll definitely be a slow, gradual process, but
I don't know.
Yeah,
How long do you think it's going to be?
I think it'll be a slow, I agree with you, but probably until May, early May.
Well, London, I feel like started also, they had a different strategy in the beginning, right? They didn't lock down everything right away.
Yeah.
That's what I saw. That's what I read. So we'll see.
I think UK kind of followed America.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as they saw America start to take it a bit more seriously, I don't know, that's my perception anyway. So America really
led the way.
Yeah.
I think we're doing okay. I think our numbers are down and we've reached a plateau. I mean, the deaths are going up, but I think that it's less, the amount of illnesses are less than they anticipated, which is good, or maybe we're doing a good job of not going out. Although I am concerned when the weather gets nice, because I see where I live, as soon as it's a nice day, everybody is outside. And even though they think they're social distancing, they're so happy to be outside and see other people that I think it makes me nervous. So we'll see. But I'm just doing my thing. I'm just coming into my studio every day and working as planned in hopes that I'll just roll into normal again when it happens.
Yeah. Well, I took a walk on Bank Holiday Monday, and the streets were empty.
Crazy, right?
Like I just had to see for myself. I didn't see anyone.
I know. Have you been to Manhattan? Have you been to New York City?
No, I haven't traveled to America. I haven't.
Okay. Well, you know about how the traffic is there. You've seen pictures of Times Square. When I drove in, I had to drive in because both of my children live in the city, and I had to drive in to pick up my older daughter and her boyfriend, and it was crazy. I was the only car on the street. That's the only plus side of this, that there's no traffic. It was insane. There were no cars on the street. I was just going straight through every green light, no traffic.
Whoa. this is amazing, don't you think? It's like a giant reset button has pressed planet Earth.
It's like exactly. It's like a movie. It's crazy.
It's phenomenal. Oh my gosh, it's so bizarre. It's so bizarre. Like the fog in parts of the world like has cleared up. You know. Wow, crazy. Loads of yeah. This is surreal. Like I've never experienced anything like this in my entire life.
And then it's going to be in the history books.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm so glad we have technology because without telling you how old I am, I remember a day when we could not do this. That it would be much worse, believe me.
Yeah. I remember the dial-up times when there was dial-up. Yeah.
There was no videos, there were no phones, there were no computers. We would all really be isolated.
Oh wow. Well, I cannot imagine that time. I can't even imagine there not being any like computers.
Right. And I'm also just happy I don't have little kids because I know a lot of people who have little kids at home.
Yeah.
And that's hard to have to entertain them and
Yeah. It's like do you like when you go out, do you do the gloves and mask or you don't or
Oh, I do. I wear gloves and masks every time.
Okay.
I don't wear the mask just to get in the car and come here, but if it's very hard to get food deliveries in New York. We have lots of, not like groceries, not restaurants, but like if you need to order from groceries, I mean, normally it's not difficult, but now there's like a 10-day waiting period until you can get a slot because everybody's ordering in. And then when you get it, you only get like half of your order. So we've been having to go to the grocery stores to get food. And so we're required to wear a mask now. And I always wear a mask and gloves. But I'm not go. But if I take a walk in my neighborhood or I go to walk my dog, I don't wear a mask and gloves because I'm not going near anybody. But if I have to go go to any kind of store or get medicine, or I do. Yeah, and I actually am really excited because I have a really good mask. I have wait, listen. I have this mask, which is called an R95, and it's just like the N95 that they say is the best mask because I had this because I use it when I varnish my paintings.
Oh, nice.
I got that years ago for the fumes, and now I'm like, this is like gold now.
I can imagine all the hardware stores are just selling out like hotcakes.
Right. Not like nobody. I keep my mask very close to me. I don't want to lose it.
So, like when you go to the supermarkets, so they tell you have to wear it before you can enter.
They told us we have to wear the mask now. Yep. Oh wait, you're frozen.
Yeah, I feel it's a bit bizarre. In the UK, they're letting a certain amount of people into the supermarkets,
right?
But you're not required. You're not really required to wear a mask or anything. I find it a bit bizarre because there's a social distancing, but people are surely going to cross each other's paths, like when you're in a supermarket. So
right, it's very right. It's very hard because we have some local stores that are smaller, so the aisles are smaller, and I literally hold my breath when I get near somebody because sometimes people are not considerate. I'm always nervous, so I'm standing back. But there are definitely people who are not taking it as seriously.
Yeah.
But a lot of the stores are also doing curbside pickup. So if you're not comfortable going in, you can just order it and pull up, and they'll bring it to your car. I mean, where I live in New York City, most people are getting things delivered, or they're going to the stores and they're only letting a few in at a time.
Yeah.
We also do have really, we have a lot of restaurants that are delivering, and so that's good. A lot of our favorite restaurants, and that's the other problem when we first open up again. Like New York, the restaurants there, I don't know. I'm sure at least 50% of them are going to go out of business, and then they're talking about when they reopen, they want to do it so that they only allow half of the seating that they used to allow. But restaurants can't survive on only half of the restaurant being full. So they're going to have to figure this out. I have no idea.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With London, the supermarket situation is insane. Like Sainsbury's is one of the biggest supermarkets, and you can't order anything. You can't even order like a pickup, and there's like a 4 week waiting list.
Right, that's crazy.
And
Can
obviously,
you walk in?
What's that?
Can you walk in and buy things, or?
Well, every Saturday I just do my house shopping.
Right.
Yeah, I do my house shopping. That's the only thing I could do. I can't do any pickups, or I can't do any deliveries. But obviously, I can't wait a month to do like house shopping. You know.
Food.
Yeah.
One piece of bread today.
Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah, I know. Wait, I was going to say something, and now you were talking about the supermarkets. I don't remember. Yeah, it's pretty bad. But we have a lot of food in our house. My husband likes to cook, so at least that's good. Oh, and that's what I was going to say. The liquor stores. That's the business to be in now. The liquor stores are doing so well.
Oh wow.
Everybody's ordering liquor, and they can't get enough of it in stock.
Yeah. That what else can you do? Just sit down, relax at home and drink some wine or whatever, So yeah.
It's doing very well.
Mm.
True.
Yeah, good stuff. So what projects are you working on at the moment?
So right now I actually still have some commissions that I'm hired to do. Yeah. So I'm working on those, which is great. Happily, things have been going okay. I'm having a little sale online. I sell, I have my own website that's cindypress.com, but I also sell things on Saatchi Art online.
Okay.
They are really, they're really good at promoting artists, and then they supply the shipping labels, which also right now I think is key, because it makes me nervous to ship things on myself. So at least they're in charge of that. If I sell something on their website, and they insure it, which is great. So I'm having a little sale online, which I've reduced all my prices, because I figure, if anybody's going to buy art right now, it would probably be nice to give them a reduced price. I would be grateful if they buy it. So I'm going to give them a little sale price, and also I'm donating 10% of every sale I make right now during this crisis to an organization called No Kid Hungry, and they feed children who are missing. In New York, especially, the kids that a lot of poor children rely on school meals for their meals, because their parents don't have enough money to feed them at home. So they rely on the meals they get at school. And now that there's no school, there's this crisis where the children might not be eating. So I'm donating proceeds from any sale I make to that. So I'm doing that. And then after I finish these commissions, I have some new large-scale paintings that I want to start. So I'm just really, I'm trying to use this time because normally I'd be working towards the shows, like the LA show that I was supposed to be in now. Normally I'd be doing work for that show, but now since the show is canceled, I'm trying to use this time to get a lot of work that I want to get done that normally I wouldn't be showing. And I love to do large scale paintings. So after these commissions, I'm going to try to do some more large scale paintings. And then when I go home, so I've been coming into the studio during the week and then staying at home on the weekend. And when I'm home on the weekend, I've been doing my drawings.
Okay.
I could work 24/7 if my family would leave me alone.
Yeah.
It's my escape. It's the only time I don't think about anything. So for me, like that would be.
Yeah, but it's great to have your family. I guess there's some people are alone.
No, yeah, and my mother-in-law, like she's 90 years old, and she lives 5 minutes from us, but she hasn't seen anybody in months now.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
So that's hard. My husband and his brother have been dropping food off to her, but she hasn't been able to go out at all because she's 90, and people that are high risk, so it's scary.
What have you been able to like Skype call her or like just
she's
video
great
chat?
at 90 years old. She can email, she can text, she can and she can Skype and she can FaceTime.
Oh, nice.
So
that's good.
We're lucky because then I do know other elderly people who are just isolated because they can't do any of that.
That's really bad. That's really bad.
Yeah. Sad for them.
Well, one thing I found a bit bizarre, I've been seeing some elderly people just by themselves doing the shopping, and I'm just thinking.
Oh my God, that's so sad. I know. That's I feel like I'm very high up. That's very sad.
Yeah, but there's one thing in the UK supermarkets, they've the first opening hour, they prioritize it.
Yeah, but it's like 6:30 in the morning.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
I've been coming. I guess maybe they assume elderly people don't sleep. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's so early. I know. Yeah, that's very sad. But there are also people who are coordinating. I don't remember the name, but I heard somebody they were doing a service where younger people were picking up and shopping for elderly people. So, it's nice to see there's so many people helping out too.
No, that's good.
I think everybody really has bonded together over this. Everybody needs to stop thinking about all the problems and the other stupid issues they had and just get together over this and try to get through it.
Definitely, yeah, because it makes you realize, you have a chance to reflect on what you actually have.
That's true. That's it.
So the fact that you have a roof over your head and you actually have a fridge with food in it, that's actually like quite a massive thing.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. You can eat and you're not starving. And it's also, that it's nice to know that, people who are having trouble paying their rent. I know that our governor, Cuomo, said, nobody is going to kick you out of your home right now. So everybody, our governor's doing the right thing here in New York. I can't speak for the rest of the country, but he's really doing a great job. I wish he would be president. I think a lot of people do, but that's for another time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know too much about American politics.
New York politics. Yeah, I know. I try to stay out of it, but when we're in a crisis and we have to refer to the people who are leading the country, then you start to perk up a little.
Yeah. But this is another reason why I set up this podcast to just educate myself on what's going on around the world. To be totally honest, so
yeah, no, it's good, and it's also, I read so much about Italy before it even hit us.
Yeah.
And it hit different people at different times. I remember when it first started to happen. I guess it was like the end of February. We were away on vacation. We went to Jamaica, to one of our places, and it was just starting to come to the U.S. And, certain people weren't really, me for one, I was like, we can still go out to dinner, or we can still do this. And then I read this article about what was happening in Italy, and it just hit me. And I just realized, we have to stop everything. Now obviously everybody is in the same place. I think we would hope, but it was interesting to watch how my different family members and my different friends started to get it at different times. And that's when I got it, when I read about Italy. And I had been to my younger daughter studied abroad in Florence. 3 years ago or 4 years, I can't remember. And we went on a nice trip, and we went to Florence and Venice and Rome. And to think of those places in lockdown, and now here we are, of course, no different, but it freaked me out. And that's when it hit me. But so, it's a world. It's not just one country. It's crazy. It's crazy that one guy in China ate a bat, and here we are.
It's like I heard this, the quarter of the world's population is in lockdown.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's phenomenal. Wow. This is really unprecedented. Like the whole world, it's not an incident in America,
right.
Japan.
Right.
It's the whole entire world.
Right. Like I think about my parents who are no longer alive, but they were alive during the Depression. That was everybody talks about that, or polio. And then I started reading up, which I didn't know about polio, was that it went on for a couple of years, for many years, and people couldn't go. Every summer people would freak out because they couldn't go. Polio, I guess, was contracted more easily in the water. So the summer would come and they couldn't go swimming. Nobody could go into pools because of it. And I think about those times and what it must have been like, and I think this is worse. Those things I've read about all my life, and they seem so devastating, but they weren't in lockdown.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever been in lockdown like that.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, there's been many of those, there's always been a different virus. Like every 2 years, there's always a virus that's been announced. But this lockdown is really affecting people, So.
And it's going to be interesting to see what happens, how we start to get back to normal. That's why I say a year, because I think, at least in New York, from what I'm hearing, it's going to be a very slow, gradual process. They're not just going to say, okay, everybody back to work.
Yeah.
They're talking about, well, first of all, there's the healthcare that has to reopen first. Like nobody can get elective surgeries, and people who need knee replacements or hip replacements, those are elective surgeries, but those people are in pain. So even though they're elective, they still need their surgery. So that's all going to get backed up. So they're going to have to deal with that. Anyway, this is the stuff that makes me crazy thinking of.
Yeah.
That's why I just paint and draw, so I don't have to think of it.
Yeah. I'm trying to take a break from the media, the news. I look a little bit. I know what's going on, but I don't fully focus on what's going on with.
Right. Me neither. I can't keep track of the numbers anymore either.
Yeah.
Much.
Yeah.
And then they're building, Central Park in New York City. They built a huge hospital with tents. We have a Navy ship here called the U.S. Comfort, which is also a hospital now. In my neighborhood, they've turned our county center into a hospital. They've turned a huge convention center in New York into a hospital. To think about how many people are getting sick is just crazy. So that's why we all have to do our part. But it's also scary that my theory is we all have it. We all have it, or we all have it, because there's so many people who don't have symptoms also.
Yeah. Because I'm hearing quite a few people, like when I watch interviews online and stuff like that, there's a few people, they say that, I think I've had it. I think I had it earlier this year, because like anyone that's had a really bad flu, they think they've had it.
They probably have.
Yeah.
So we need to come up with that antibody test. I think that's going to be the only way we're going to be able to figure this out. So. But it's good that you're doing this and you have this project.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, and the videos turn out really nice, by the way.
I started to watch some of them. They're fun. And yes, you'll have to tell me when you post this so I can share it on my social media.
Yes, most definitely. So for the people out there, if you want to check out your work, what's your website, social media, all that?
My website is cindypress.com. My Instagram is @CindyPressArt. So is my Facebook. I don't tweet all that much anymore. I'm on Twitter, but I'm an artist. I'm on Instagram and on Facebook. And that's it. I'm very accessible, and I love to talk to people and collectors. So anybody that has questions or just wants to say hi can contact me anytime, like you did.
Yep. Sorry about the time difference. Oh, yeah.
Okay, I was like 2:00. I was literally I just got out of the shower. I'm like, wait, that's wrong time. You know, that's the problem with social media. You feel like I do the same thing. That's why I've started always saying like Eastern Standard Time or New York, because I have friends on the West Coast too that are 3 hours behind me. We all feel like we're in the same place because we're just having one big conversation.
Yeah.
I'm here now. No worries.
Yeah. Cheers. This has been a great talk, actually. Really, really cool.
Thank you, David. It was so nice to meet you. And
lovely to
when
meet
we
you,
do get to London, we'll have to have a drink.
Yeah,
and
most definitely.
Hopefully not 6 feet apart.
Yeah. Nice one. Yeah, so thanks again. I'll let you know when this is posted.
Please do.
And enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.